Welcome to Mic Check Waifu Waifu.
Mic check, waifu. Ma, tell him. Is that you?
It is in midterms.
This is episode 276 of Mic Check Waifu. As always, it's brought to you by Patreon. Patreon.com/Mic Check Waifu is where you can get early access to the video version of this podcast. Is where you can get access to the Patreon exclusive pre-show. It's where you can get access to the Patreon exclusive podcast, The After Story, which is coming back now that everything is all said and done. Now it's time to get it all done, then said. It's also brought to you by the Patreon producers. Shout out to Christian, the archivist, Rob from Dad Needs to Talk podcast, Fear, Glazed Yams, Ked the Pro from Chaotic Culture, Explicitly, All for One Matt Mazer, Altor, Monique Williams, Semi Sensei, Frozen, and last but not least, our guy, Rob Stone. Thank you so much for producing this and many episodes of the podcast. We couldn't do it without y'all. This is the fall midterms. Usually every season when we get to the halfway mark, we give grades on what we think our season is doing for us. We got a lot of great discussion from the Discord on the fall midterms thread here. Very, very good discussion. We talked about a lot of it in the pre-show. So if you are supporting our Patreon at any tier, make sure you watch the pre-show, because the pre-show kind of goes deep into a lot of stuff that we're going to probably go into more detail again. But we got some good insight from our guy Multi-Purpose. He was featuring in this pre-show about two particular shows, but make sure you guys check out the pre-show. We are dropping this episode. I'm going to drop it all tomorrow, which is the 13th, which is Wednesday. We're going to be a day late because we were recovering from my wedding. Spending time with the family. Shout out to Tell for coming down with his family and spending time with my family and taking pictures for me. The pictures turned out absolutely great. I love them so much. I got them all folded up and ready to go out. I got to figure out a way to best put them out there. But thank you so much, Tell, and everybody that gave me the congrats and stuff.
It was beautiful.
It was great, wasn't it?
Man, and I ain't trying to be too sentimental or anything like that, but y'all gotta understand, this is my brother for more than half my life now. And to see this moment is like it's insane. Polow and I was supposed to be they're like hard asses of the friend group. We was the ones that nobody was expecting to be here. And 10 years ago, literally 10 years ago, so my anniversary is 3 days after the day he was married.
Great.
Which is partially why, like you say, we were recovering and I was celebrating my anniversary. 10 years ago, Polow took pictures for my wedding. And I love my brother so much, man. All I can ever say is how much I appreciate him. And my wife and I both love Polow because just some backstory. My wife kind of knew Polow before she knew me. Like, she knew who I was, right? Because we went to the same school. But she knew Polow before she knew me, and she talked about how he was always so respectful, always so nice. And it was just like this shocker for her that of all the men she's ever met in her life, the only men she feel like did not what do you say womanize or treat her in a disrespectful manner were Polow and myself. So it just so happens that my brother is like that, and I just gotta say I love Polow, and I appreciate him, and I congratulate him on his lovely marriage, and I hope y'all can share in that with me right now. On the count of three, y'all say congratulations, Polow. 1, 2, 3. Congratulations, Polow, on your beautiful marriage and your beautiful wife.
It was so nice. So over that weekend, I got to spend a lot of time with my father and her brother. So after the ceremony, the next day, I spent time with her brother and my father, and we just went out to eat. And that was just a great conversation between us all. And then the following day was my niece's celebration for her birthday. We went bowling, and that was just so much fun. It was just so much fun. So I'm thankful for my mother and my sister and my nieces and my nephews and Tells and my other nieces and my other nephew. And I just appreciate everybody being here. It was a great time. It was a great time. Okay. This is Mic Check Waifu, the anime podcast, brought to you every Tuesday, usually at 9:30 a.m. CT. There is some housekeeping I want to get through before we get into the main topic of the show this week, which is obviously the fall midterms. And that's one, we are going to be reviewing a suggested anime for the mid-season review. That's next week. So if you guys can, make sure you join the Discord, discord.miccheckwaifuwaifu.com. There's going to be a forum thread of suggestions that you guys can, or of shows you can suggest to us to review. Shout out to one of the Patreon producers, Glaze Jams, who recommended Plastic Memories. I just said this earlier, but early in our podcasting time, I believe it was like 2 years ago, I did watch Plastic Memories and give like a personal review of it and a personal score. So unfortunately we can't review that, but what a great suggestion that would have been. And I wish I didn't watch it solo, because to watch that with Tel would have been great. But we are looking for suggestions. So join the Discord, discord.miccheckwaifuwaifu.com. And then drop your suggestions over there on what you want us to review. We're open to anything as long as it's completed. It could be a show that you haven't completed on your list yet, like Fear does. Fear always recommends a show he hasn't finished, just so it can forces him to watch it.
Yeah, good decision.
Which is always great. Or just something that you like and you want to hear what we have to say about it. So make sure you drop that in our Discord. Also, no, I think that's it for the housekeeping, right? Yeah, that's it. So drop your suggestions for next week. And then we'll tell you the following week on what we're going to watch and then review. So yeah. All right. Which is, we're a little behind on that, but it's perfectly fine. What's going to happen is that we're going to have that review, and then we're going to have our end of the season review like 3 weeks after that, I think.
Right.
Roughly. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Anyway, now, episode of the week, Tel. What would you say your episode of the week this week was?
So I'm gonna say this, but I'm only gonna say this because it was from a previous season, so I'm not giving it an episode of the week. Reincarnated Aristocrat. I fucking love that episode, but it's not episode of the week because it's from a previous season. I'm choosing this one. I'm pretty sure Polow's not choosing this one, but Bluebox. I loved that episode this week, and I thought it was phenomenal.
It was a brilliant RT episode that I just
top tier for me.
Loved. Yeah.
So Bluebox episode of the week for me. Go ahead.
Unironically, I'm going to choose the most notorious talker runs the world's greatest clan. It was between this and one other show. The other show that it was going to be Osama's show, but I decided to go with the most notorious talker because I do feel like it's not getting its just deserves. And what a phenomenal episode that was. I can't wait till next week.
Yo, he be strategizing.
Yeah. Next week is gonna be phenomenal. So that's all I'm gonna say on that. But let's get into this main topic of the show. Tots is midterms. Okay.
The midterms.
Do you remember how we normally do midterms still? Because
we normally get our listeners / viewers scores first. then we give ours, and we give our final overall score. So I do have our last season scores. I don't have what like the listeners and viewers gave us as a whole. But you want me to give our scores from last season?
Yes, actually. What was the summer midterm score?
So our summer midterm score, which we don't always line up on the same exact score, but we did. We both gave it a B.
Interesting. Okay. So if I remember correctly, let's take a look. Summer was Oshinoko season 2, Alia Sometimes How Her Feelings in Russian, Astoria, Makine, Too Many Losing Heroines, No Longer Allowed in Another World, Failure Frame, Elusive Samurai, I Parry Everything, the Osan Newbie Adventures.
Mm-hmm.
A pretty great Socialman, which is my sleeper. Pretty great season, actually.
Yeah.
Looking back on it. Wow. Yeah, pretty great season there. Okay. So this one, start with the listener, shall we? Let's start with Crystal. Now, Crystal went the score route, so I'm gonna just take the numbers that she gave and then give the equivalent grade to that number. So she got Reincarnated as Aristocrat is a B. Nina, the Starry Bride, is a F. Which is her sleeper, which is sad, but I understand why. The Ron Forbidden Deductions, the detective one that I keep forgetting to pick back up, she gave a C. Yakuza Fiance, she gave an F minus, basically. It's a 3. ReZero, she gave a B, which is crazy to me. Is it wrong to pick up Girls in a Dungeon? She gave a B as well. She's harsh. Crystal is a tough one to please. Negative Positive Angler, which sounds like a fishing anime, which I'd never heard of, but she gave a C to that. 365 Days Into the Wedding, she gave a B. Bluebox, she gave it A. How I Attended an All Guy Mixer, she gave a B. The Blue Wolves of Mabaru, she gave a C. Blue Exorcist, Beyond the Snowy Saga, I forgot Blue Exorcist season 4 was even a thing, but she gave a B minus, and her average is a C. Yeah, just about a C, 74%. Interesting, Crystal. Now, where do I want to start? Nina the Starry Bride, I dropped.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting scores. It seems to me that Crystal is a tough one to please.
Which is understandable. And I feel like she's being as fair as possible in her own regard, right?
Yeah.
Because she's giving us an actual score, not like a letter. You know what I mean?
Right.
Whereas, like, for instance, I gave mine all letters. So,
of course,
100%, she's giving it, she's letting us know exactly like where she's standing with this. And I rock with it. I think it's as accurate as she can get. It's giving her no room for error in her judgment on this, and I like it.
Yeah, I like it too. I can't wait to pick up Is It Wrong to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon, because the fact that it has the same as both ReZero and Reincarnated as an Aristocrat, to me, is an A.
Yeah.
So I think it must be actually hidden if Crystal gave it those same scores. So,
but it's always good, at least in my opinion. It's always been good.
Yeah. All right. Let's go to our guy, All For One Matt. Shout out to All For One Matt, because he gave us a suggestion of what we should do at the end of the season. In our topic weeb ideas in our producers channel. I decided to come up with a name. He decided to say, hey, I think you guys should pick who your favorite male and female characters are at the end of each season. So at the end of each season, we're gonna pick our favorite male and female characters of the entire season. But I decided to coin that term, the one that matters. The ones that matters. The ones that matter is going to be the title of that segment. So shout out to
All For One Matt.
Shout out to All For One Matt for that. All right. He says, I'm going to keep it simple. Fall midterms grades. Standout shows, You Are Miss Servant, Bluebox, Notorious Talker. Overall grade is C+. Standout returning shows. Reincarnated as an Aristocrat, Danmachi season 5, ReZero season 3. I feel sorry for the two MCs in Danmachi and ReZero. They're going through it this season. Yeah. I mean, don't they always though, right? And then favorite character so far, Noel from Notorious Talker. He reminds me of Naofumi and Hajime from Shield Hero and Ari Frietta. Naofumi and Hajime. Oh, so Hajime is the Ari Frietta main character. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Except he's probably more cunning and ruthless. And then he says 2 is Yuki from His Servant. I mean, how can you not root for a character like her? That's a big fact.
Yeah.
Absolute big fact.
So always get some endearing moments from that show, which is crazy because
we're gonna talk about that later.
Yeah, bro, you don't expect it, but it's every episode.
Every episode. Okay. So you guys recorded. Oh, that's sorry. Didn't need to read that. Okay, all right. We got Amazer Altors, one of the Patreon producers. He says he also gave it in score form. So I'm just gonna read the grade in which he read the grade associated with the score that he gave. So Mazer Alter gives Don an 8.5. Bleach, a B. Bleach, he gave an A-. Ari Frietta, he gave an A-. You Are Miss Servant, he gave an A-. Yakuza Fiance, he gave a C. 365 Days to the Wedding, he gave a B, B-. Aristocrat, he gave a B-. Let This Grieving Soul Retire, he gave a B. The Most Notorious Talker, he gave a B. MF Ghost, he gave an A at a 95%. And he says overall continuing this season is a B for him. He says some extras. Overlord movie, 7.5. I got something to say about that because I just went and watched that solo.
What?
Yes, I did.
Oh, I gotta watch that.
I saw it at the Alamo Draft House, but I'm gonna talk about that a little bit later. All right. Tying the knot with the Amagami sisters. He dropped it for now, but he gave it a C.
Mm-hmm.
Goodbye Dragon Life dropped for now. He gave it a D. The Healer Who's Banished dropped for now. He gave a D. Dragon Ball Daima dropped for now. He gave a C-. Blue Lock, he said drop for now. He gave a C-. So overall for Altor or Mazer Altor, he gave it a B so far. That wasn't counting his extras, but yeah. So
I mean,
definitely different.
So, and here's the thing that makes this hard, right? When you include the things that you're dropping, because technically, in a way, those do count for the season.
It does. I agree.
Those scores kind of do tally into what we're looking at, right?
So let's take a look then. You know what I'm gonna do here. If I look at his scores, everything that he dropped will bring his B down to about a C-.
Yeah.
There's 2 6s and a bunch of C minuses with 2 regular C's. I think it bring it down to about a C even.
C plus.
Yeah, roughly.
But it's like, bro, he kept everything that was basically gas. He kept everything that was good.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, of course, this season is going to be amazing when you got Bleach, that's a returning anime, Ari Frietta, which is a returning anime, MF Ghost, a returning anime, Aristocrat, which is a returning anime. You got at least 4 anime that are BA averages no matter what,
right?
And then you're picking all of the, and this isn't like any like shade or anything to you. I'm just saying, with looking at that and you're keeping only the top tier of stuff. It's like, bro, of course you gotta be. It's looking good over there,
right? Yeah,
it's looking really good on your list. If that's all I was watching, I'd be. This would be the best season this year.
Mm-hmm. Which when I think of B, I think of last season. It's hard to even, we'll get into it when we get to our scores, but it's hard to even put it comparatively close to what last season was. Spoiler alert from my grade, but all right, moving on to Christian, the Archivist, one of the Patreon producers. He says, I'm totally not caught up enough to give a grade, but my intuition is telling me that it's a C plus, which is perfectly fine. You give us on whatever you feeling right now for the season. It ain't gotta be, you gotta watch everything. Like sometimes people give us grades for shows and they're only watching one show, and that's perfectly fine too. So it's just your personal grade that we like to share. All right. So let's get to our guy T Money Fingers. His is extensive. So I'm going to read it all, but this is probably where the big discussion is going to come from, because he dived into detail as to why he gave what he gave. So T Money Fingers gives Don to Don an A. He says, for me, the show has everything I want in a weird, wacky new franchise. Also, I love how it can do the actions so well. And have so much good comedy on top of that. I love the characters and how they play off of each other. I get that they're jacked up to 20 out of 10 when it comes to pretty much everything, but I'm here for it. And then he goes, the healer who was banished from the party, he gave it a C. He said, the show isn't bad, just very atypical, be usual, as you fellas would say. Yeah, touche. And he says, let this grievance soul retire. He gave a C+. He says, I could see this show moving up to a B for me personally. The characters is what makes it so high for myself. Right now, not even the main guy. He's fine and all, but the people around him I like much more. And he says, the Notorious Talker is a B+. So close to giving this an A, and so close to giving this show an A. Might end up that way by the end of the season. This is my number one show that I can't wait to watch, and I can't wait to watch the next episode. Good point there. ReZero, an A. Not going to say a whole lot. We already know. Yes, sir. As a reincarnated aristocrat, he gave a B. Not much to say here, to be honest. It's as good as season 1. I'm really enjoying it. Hope we get to see him get older and collect more and more people around him. He says, Demon Lord 2099 gave a B. I'm very surprised how much I'm liking this show. I would have not have thought in the beginning I would have rated it so high, but the characters are good. The concept is cool and unique. Very intrigued to see where the story is going. And then he says, you are my servant, C+. He says, okay, this is the one. I just don't see what everybody's raving about. I want to stress the show looks amazing. I just can't get over the whole she's an assassin, but she's so nice and wholesome and good. I don't know why I can't get over that. I like it though. I'm going to watch it, but it's not my top 5 this season. He's not done yet. He got a little bit more, so forgive me. But he says, these are shows that a couple of shows here I'm not watching, but I'm going to continue. It continues. I'll become the villainess who goes down in history. He gave a C. Nothing remarkable, but I like the main character. And it's kind of corny, but I'm here for it.
Right, it is.
Yago's fiance, C-. The main character carries the show so hard. I truly don't like watching the main guy protagonist, but I'm curious to see where the show goes and if she's able to carry it or not. Got a lot to say about that one too. He says, tying in out with the Amagami sisters, a D+. My type of garbage show tropes on tropes. I'm here for it. But you gave it a D+. Weird.
Hey, it's fair.
Yeah, I guess it's fair if that's how you feel. But Sama show. Honestly, I'm not ready for anything bad to happen. I just want it to stay awesome, fun. But the characters are great. Story is good. Nothing bad to say, really. Sama show A. Yeah, I like that. See, okay. How I attended an all guy mixer. He gave it a B. This show is one of those shows for anyone here who hasn't checked it out yet. I think you need to try and get out of your comfort zone and at least give it an episode or 2. It's legit really funny. The concept as unique and as it is chill, no stakes, fun watch.
Okay.
Bluebox, he gave a B. I would give this an A, but the fact that there's so many episodes to go, I want to wait and see. That being said, love the show. I feel like the shows lately overdoing a good job. The show's lately overdoing a good job of not just having the main guy and the boy be the best characters. Oh, I see what he's saying. This is a good example of that. I do appreciate you guys giving me a place to talk about these Japanese cartoons and how cool they are. And he said, my dumb ass also started an Overlord rewatch because I have a problem.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. I love T Money Fingers. He's great. So, all right. To break down what he said here, okay? And specifically, I want to focus on two things. You Are My Servant and Don to Don. We talked about this in the pre-show a lot. We already kind of pre-gave our grades there. But, and I'm not going to spoil what our grades are until we get to our points, but what he said is the only thing I can agree with. Like everything, I mean, obviously, I think Let This Grievance Soul Retire. No, sorry, the most notorious talker. I think everything else he said is like perfect to a T, exactly how I feel about these shows. Maybe, yeah, it's exactly how I feel about these shows for the most part. However, You Are My Servant. He says, I just don't see what everybody's raving about. Mm-hmm. This is the same way that Fear feels, which is very surprising to me too, because he's also on the kind of like the same tier or wavelength when it comes to these kind of shows as us, usually. He says, you don't, what did Fear say exactly? I'm gonna just go. I don't remember. He says, sorry, I can't find it. I'm sure I'll get to it though. But he said the same thing basically T Money Fingers said. The way y'all feel about, I said this in the Discord, the way y'all feel about You Are Miss Servant, I don't see what y'all are raving about, is the same way I feel about Don to Don. Now, I like Don to Don fine. It's fine. But me and Tell talked about this in the pre-show. I don't think the characters are as likable as y'all say to us. They're just not. They're quite your average shonen protagonist. Very loud, noisy. And I don't care about none of them. And funny enough, we kind of had unintentionally a guest on our pre-show, a guy named Multipurpose. He's like, I watched the first episode. He said, I just didn't care to watch the rest because I just don't care. And that's exactly how I feel with Don to Don. I don't really care much about anything that's going on.
Here's one of the things that I view these characters as. When they're separated from each other, they're actually bearable. When they're together, they are grating. Like they are like chalk on a chalkboard scratching. And that's when they're together. But like I said in the pre-show, every other character is somewhat good or just so much better. Every other character. So it's so hard to look at this show when it has so many high quality elements in terms of the animation, the sound design, the voice acting is on point. All of this stuff is so good, but these characters, they're really drawing a lot of it down in terms of like, sometimes they have chemistry and then their chemistry just goes out the window, which is somewhat organic, but also extremely inorganic to completely have the trope of the constant misunderstandings, and not really working through it in any way, shape or form. So yeah, I do think these characters, and it sucks, the two main characters are the worst characters in the show. When everyone else is like bearable or just good.
Yeah, he mentioned it in the pre-show, but Turbo Granny's great. Granny's great. And to be honest, you say everyone else in the show, but that's the only other people in the show. So it's like
other than the new villain and
so the new villain and then the pink hair girl, but she also sucks. I don't find nothing about these characters even tolerable. Okay, I'm lying. There is some part about it that I do find tolerable. The piece that I find tolerable about it is the inkling of a romance, which isn't in these shows ever. Like outside of like Boruto and Naruto actually, marrying Hinata and whatever, these shonens never have like real actual romance elements that's ever developed. And it seems like that's what's going to be different about this one than the other shonens that's what we watch, like JJK, Chainsaw Man, all the atypical B-usual shonens, Demon Slayer, etc., etc. I think that is going to be the piece that carries the show for me, is that slight inkling of a romance that they have that I might enjoy more. However, the characters absolutely stink right now. They just stink. And it's, I disagree with T Money Fingers. I don't find the show funny whatsoever. I don't laugh at it almost at all. it is pretty to look at. And like Tell said, the voice acting is fucking wonderful. Like the English dub is great. It's so good. It's such a good English dub that that is also a reason why I'm continuing to come back every week and enjoying it, watching it, because I like hearing the voices. I think the voice acting is fantastic, but I don't think this is offering anything at all. Like story wise, characterization wise, outside of the slight inkling of a little romance piece, but everything else is nothing. I think the episode before this one was did I say this last week? Or no, I don't think we recorded to that part. But I think the episode where they were like having trouble communicating was the best episode. The episode where ain't shit happened was the best episode in my opinion. And that's wild. That's wild. But everything else,
that episode to me was irritating because I hated the fact that they had that misunderstanding like that, and it was my personal opinion. It was only good once they finally got past that point.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like once they got past that point, that's what made it feel like they had some characterization to them. Like I actually enjoyed them as people. Outside of that, it's just, again, it's a bunch of screaming and yelling and moving, and about all this is about kind of something stupid too. Like I just need a through line, I guess, what it is for me. I'm rather bored watching it, to be honest. Yeah. But You Are Miss Servant. Now, what he said about You Are Miss Servant is interesting, because he says, okay, this is the one that I don't see what everyone is raving about. I want to stress the show looks amazing. I just can't get over the whole she's an assassin, but she's so nice and wholesome and good. Yeah, no, she's not. And this is what I mean. She's only wholesome and nice and good to her master. Mm-hmm. Everything else, she's just emotionless, which is what's
other than
the bread, right, in the sauce. That is what's most interesting about it, is the fact that the master, I don't remember his name, I'm not gonna look it up. He's opening up her world to a whole new place, and the way that the wholesomeness of it all interacts with each other is the reason why I love it. These characters are so much better to deal with than Don to Don. They're so much more interesting to deal with. Like learning about the dragon the sixth dragon or some shit like that, whatever it is.
Dragon 9.
It's Dragon 9. Yeah, that seemed like it's going to have some interesting through thread. They seem like there's going to be a through thread within the show that's going to push the show forward, or the main story forward. And Don to Don just doesn't feel like that. It just feels like it's something happening every week to week, monster of the week essentially. And we're just going to get them yelling at each other and fucking, I don't know. I don't even know how to explain what the fuck is going on in Don to Don, to be honest.
And it feels like we kind of got a little mini harem starting.
Oh, true. You Are Miss Servant is just fantastic, man. It's a show that I enjoy watching. Like I'm looking forward to watching it. I sit down with a smile on my face and I'm in it. And I don't want to go anywhere else. Don to Don, I'm looking down on my phone and I'm barely even intrigued.
But here's the thing, is that everything that Don to Don is doing well, You Are Miss Servant is also doing well, in my opinion.
Doing better.
Yeah, like the animation is there. It's really good animation. It's beautiful. Mm-hmm. When they have the action scenes, they're impactful. The presence is there. The voice acting is there. This show is great all the way around. And this could just be like a Polow and Tell ass anime.
Could be.
Which there are some that just fit into that genre that we've created. But I mean, and I don't know if everyone is raving about it, but we gonna talk about it here. We gonna rave about it because it is, to me, it is easily the best show this season.
Easily. That's not
including
show.
Like returning. Yeah,
of course. It's I mean, to be honest, it's not even close. I mean, there's maybe one show that's close, and that's Sama Show, but more on that later. Yeah, it's funny. All right, let's go to our guy Fear. Fear says Sama Show A-. He said, I want to rate this show so highly because of the sensitive subject matter. It's something that shouldn't work, but so far it's working really well. I feel it deserves this grade, though I added a minus because I can't quite imagine how the story will keep progressing now that certain things have been revealed. maybe it's not fair to pick. Maybe it's not fair to dock points for that. But I just don't think the plot will stay as interesting moving forward. Interesting way. You added a minus for what could be. Interesting way of looking at it, Fear. And I never really thought of that being even an option when we do these midterms. ReZero, an A. Not much to say on this one. This season has kept me on my toes every episode. There hasn't been anything I've disliked so far.
All right.
Same.
Obviously. I'm gonna read this Dragon Ball one because this is where I'm stepping in. I'm sorry. Dragon Ball B-. He says, way too long, wouldn't read this on the pod, LOL. But we are. I think it might be a little too early to give it a solid grade, but there's a lot of potential here. This Dragon Ball story seems like it's going to deliver the most world building, story progression, and lore out of all the series. It's not meant to be like Dragon Ball GT, but they've taken some of the elements that worked well in GT and are building on them even further. So far, it feels promising. It's almost as if Toriyama had been paying attention to trends in the anime world, and we're now getting higher quality stories with more interesting and concise world building and lore. Not that Dragon Ball hasn't done that in the past, but it feels more prevalent now. And I agree. Now, hear me out. I'm not saying that this story is top tier. I'm looking at the potential and the bones that they've given us, the structure they've given us with this specific Dragon Ball Daima series. And let me tell you, I feel like this is going to be the most enjoyable Dragon Ball since like Dragon Ball, just Dragon Ball. It legit feels like when I'm watching this, that this is one, the action isn't that typical. I'm just throwing punches and kicks and I'm dodging them and you don't really get to see what's actually happening. And then I yell for 5 minutes, get a power up, and then we start fighting. This feels like they actually care about what you're watching and what you're taking your time to enjoy here and what you're investing in. I said this before. I think this feels like peak Dragon Ball. This feels like Dragon Ball decided we're not playing with people's time anymore, that we're going to honor our fans and give them something enjoyable to watch. No, I don't think this is like top 5 this season or anything like that. But boy, is it good to watch some good Dragon Ball for a change.
So since you're the only one watching it out of the two of us, what would your grade be?
Oh, my grade for it is a B.
Okay. Interesting. He says, okay, moving on. Don, B+. I'm not sure if all the hype is warranted yet, but so far, the show is really good. I love the main characters and their interactions with each other. It's interesting to see how they're transforming. One of the most recent episodes felt kind of tropey, but the way it all came together worked for me. It even gave me those slice of life romance vibes, which I always appreciate. Which is interesting that you feel this way about Don, but now you are Miss Servant. Crazy. All right. And he says, Bleach is an A. Yo Wahak. I don't know how to say that fucking name. Carries. It's great that they brought this back all these years and really did the story justice. However, there are moments where Yuhawak feels a bit too much like Aizen, which gives me copy and paste vibe. I agree with that. Very interesting. He says Orb. He gave it a C. This one pains me. No spoilers, but I really wish they had followed the tone and pacing of the first 2 episodes. I will say though, it'll definitely be a better binge. I'm raising my hand. For those of you who are not watching the video version, I'm raising my hand because I agree with that. Yeah. I think it's going to be a better binge. I'm not watching it anymore this season because I'm gonna just binge it all 25 episodes, whatever it is. Because it's just I can't do this slow ass pacing each week when I have so much other shit to do and see, and I prefer.
I do find it enjoyable, but it's so dialogue heavy that I can see it being. It's basically like we're watching a book.
Yeah, and I'm okay with that usually, but I don't know. All right, 365 Days to the Wedding. His sleeper. He says I gave a B+. It's your typical slice of life romance, but it's cute. Watching the two main characters slowly discover more about each other in unusual situations is pretty funny. They have solid connection, even if they never really talked before. I agree. I agree with 365 Days. I'm enjoying that one. It doesn't look the best, but again, it's not all about looks when it comes to show for me. Obviously, if it was all about looks, Down to Nine would be higher than what it is, what I'm gonna give it by the time we get to that point. But yeah, I agree. And that'd be it. I think Fear was the last one. So again, if you haven't already, join the Discord, discord.mycheckwaifuwaifu.com, and be a part of these midterms and reviews and grades and stuff, because that is the best way to be a part of the show, because Twitter is not it. Also, I think I'm gonna start using Blue Sky more. But anyway, anyway, now let's get to what we feel. All right, Tell.
Here we go.
You fall.
What your list looking like?
My list is ReZero.
No.
Let's start there.
Okay, so I didn't rate anything that was returning, but I'm gonna add it as we go.
Okay, good. Because they're a part of the season, so you have to. I think. Personally.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
ReZero season 3A.
Yeah.
It's easy. That's an easy one. There hasn't been, like Fear said, it hasn't been a moment I dislike yet, and I agree with that. I guess I can go A+, huh? We can do pluses.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go A+. It's a score of 101. That shit is great, man. They did something in this most recent episode. I'm not gonna say who the character is or what they did, or not. I'm gonna say what they did. But they took the camera and they spun it 360 Matrix style around a character. That was so fucking dope, man. It was so dope that I got chill bumps watching it. I'm like, yo, this shit is so fucking cool. So fucking cool. So A+, ReZero. Tell.
Yeah, ReZero A+, easy. It's not even a question. I strive to get A's. ReZero strive to never miss.
Down to Don. Now I know this is a popular one, and I know people won't like what we said about it earlier. But this one, this is a C for me. I think it's just middling. I think it's mad decent. I don't think it's a bad show. I do like the show. I want to make that clear. I do like the show because if I remember correctly, I think I gave Undead Unluck a D because I think that show is bad. So when I think a show is bad, you're not getting anything above a D. This show isn't bad. It's not a bad show. However, I'm bored watching it. They're way too loud. And again, I don't see the chemistry that y'all see. I don't know where. I think they're kind of a nuisance. Both the characters are nuisances to each other. However, I do like Ken Takakura more than Ayase. A lot more than Ayase. I think Ayase is just, I don't know. She's just so blah.
Right. There's a lot I like about Don to Don, but then as soon as you throw those characters in the mix, I agree. It's just if it could be an A, but you throw those characters in, it's I immediately give it a B-. They're just not good, and I feel like you need to replace either both of them or something. So yeah, I gave it a B-.
Give me a through line, man. Give me a main story to follow and with some growth. I need some main story and some growth. I don't see any growth whatsoever between these characters. It's the same shit over and over.
Yeah, the issue is that because of the character dynamic, the storyline is failing. The world could be so interesting.
I agree, yeah.
But these characters and their dynamic is trash. Yeah. And it makes the story fail with it. And then the pacing feels like it's going to be a creature of the week or every 2 week kind of scenario because of that. And it's going to go from a B- to a C because of that, at least for me.
Yeah. Multi-purpose says something I was just dastardly good.
If this was the perfect season for Don.
Yes, Multi-Purpose stated in our pre-show that this is the perfect season for Don to come out, because if this came out last season, I guarantee you everybody that gave Don an A or a B plus would not have. It wouldn't even be close, because everything else will be so much better. And Don is really the only other pretty colored, fast-paced, interesting-esque show, right? Like, because you had, I'm thinking about Kaiju number 8. Shit was 20 billion times better than Don. I'm thinking about, I just trying to think about shows that are of the same ilk, right? So
but even so, last season didn't need a lot of the prettiness. It just had some stuff that just was structurally better.
Like, imagine Don coming out the same time Astoria did. No way Don would be getting an A or a B plus, because you got Astoria right there at an A or a B plus. But let's talk about spring. We got Kaiju number 8. Kaiju number 8 is way better than Don so far. Windbreaker 20 times better than Don. Fucking Demon Slayer, the training arc, I thought was better than anything Don has going on. I was reincarnated as the 7th Prince, way better. And look wise, character wise, all of that. Like Winter, I'm just keep going back. I'm and maybe I'm a little bit biased with this one, but Solo Leveling I think is better than Don.
How's that biased?
Delicious in Dungeon is fucking way better, in my opinion. Tsukimichi Moonlit Fantasy Season 2. Oh my God, Danger's in My Heart. Like, there's so many other seasons that are just shitting on what Don is from every particular respect, I think, personally.
And to be fair, I think we did say that this might be the weakest season we've had in a while. So this is the perfect season for them to come out.
Yeah. Yep. So, yeah, that's that. All right, let's go to Bluebox, Tell.
Yeah, I don't know what Polow gonna rate Bluebox, but I love Bluebox. I gave it an A.
Yeah, it's so easy to give it an A, and I agree with that. I gave it an A too. I think it's just what a great show.
It's one of those ones, bro. It's like you turn it on, and so every character in this show has been a treat.
You know what it is?
What's that?
Every character in the show feels unique.
Yes, and this episode we got this week. Oh, brother.
Oh my God.
I was like, my heart.
Check the spoilers for the Bluebox thread in our Discord, but I don't like, we talking about this in the spoiler half of the show, by the way. Like, there's no question, because I have to discuss it.
I think your statement that you said in the spoilers, I don't think that that's the case. I'm just gonna say that. Okay.
So we're gonna talk about it in the second half of the show, because I'm really curious as to what you're thinking. All right, yeah. Hey, we both gave it an A. Bleach. You know what? I'm gonna give Bleach a B. And the reason why it's not an A, and maybe this is cheating, because I think, it was episode 6. Okay, so no, it's actually not cheating. It's perfect, because that's the midpoint. I think episode 6 brought it down from what it could have been an A for me to a B, because episode 6 just felt like such a Bleach ass, One Piece ass, Naruto ass episode, where there's a whole lot of shit happening, but nothing is happening. It's just you talking to a bunch of people in different pieces of the situation, or different parts of the situation, and it feels fillery. Like, it feels like they're padding time to kind of, gravitate towards something else. And then what's about to happen is they get to this point where they now have to fight their way through a fucking labyrinth or a maze or a town or you know what I'm saying? Like, it just feels so like we got to extend this a little bit, Yeah. And this episode was the only reason why, because I know where it's going. And I kind of take this from Fear. Because Fear, he rated something and added like what the potential could be. I'm doing that now with Bleach, because I think what's going to happen now is you're going to be us fighting our way to the big boss, like the atypical be usual shonen shit that they normally would do.
Yeah, I agree with the B for Bleach, and I say that I hate to do this. So episode 6, it felt exactly like what you said. This is a conversational episode with a bunch of just newly thrown in characters. It almost feels like you just threw them people in out of left field. Yeah. Did not feel necessary, or like you literally told them, hey, just stay back until we need you to help come save us. And it's like, is that foreshadowing, or are they literally just trash that showed up for this? Did not.
They're established character in the Bleach lore, but I think they just brought them back for the nostalgic.
Yeah, I know that. I'm saying, like, are they trash for this episode? Like, are they not going to show up again this season or until the very end for whatever specific purpose? So for me, it felt like that was like unnecessary. And then, like I said, the introduction to Grimjow last episode just felt like it brought this into a continuation of it. It felt like that was not like it felt very like, I'm not gonna say ass pulley, but unnecessary, and into this also seemingly unnecessary continuation. So these last 2 episodes kind of brought it or dragged it down a bit. Like, I'm gonna say episode and a 10th just kind of brought it down.
I agree. All right. I'm not watching Shangri-La Frontier. I haven't watched 1 episode yet, so I don't even know what the fuck.
Shangri-La Frontier, I'm giving it a D+ right now.
Okay, you watched some of it?
Yes. It is. It's not fun.
I'm not watching Is It Wrong to Pick Up Girls in the Dungeon because that's a binge, so unfortunately it won't be a factor in my grade. Spirit Chronicles season 2. You know, this is just a Polow Until Last anime, and it's probably like a D+. There's not much to it for me. Not much to it going on in the show. And here's the kicker. I don't mind watching it. I don't have a problem watching it every week. It's not spectacular. It doesn't look great. The voice acting is, there's a lot of recognizable voice actors in here, but it seems like they're collecting the check. They don't seem like they're performing to their best abilities when it comes to the dub. But, you know, it's a show I enjoy. You know, it's a D+. It's a good kind of bad, I guess.
I'm giving it a C. Just because, like, I don't feel like it's bad, and I feel like if people just picked it up, they wouldn't hate it.
Yeah, I feel like that too.
Because I feel like giving it a D means that it is
D+.
Like bad. And I guess you said D+. I feel like that's still bad. but I guess I also kind of feel like A's is bad. So I guess that's I'm just saying this. I feel like if people picked it up, they wouldn't be completely dejected to it. It wouldn't be like something like, oh, I don't even want to watch this. And people, I feel like it's a hit or miss for many people, but it's something that I feel like it's not a bad background anime. It's something that I do pay attention to when it's on. So, you know, it's good.
It's a good kind of bad for me. And what I mean by that is, like, I don't find it as good as Don to Don, but it's also not as bad as like Yakuza Fiance. You know what I mean? Like it's a D+, but I say it's a like a 7. It's like a 69%. Nice. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a 69% type of D. I don't mind it. I could watch it, and I don't have a problem with watching it. But Ari Frietta, I'm not watching. I'm binging later with the dub.
That has been. I'm giving it a B- right now.
Oh wow, that's huge.
And it's not that it's bad. It's just initially starting off, it was cool. Not showing amazing things, and it's starting to pick up now. So B- is solid.
Okay, I can't wait. I'm looking forward to that thing. You already gave your score for Daima. You Are Miss Servant. It's an A+.
A+.
It's the number. And funny enough, like it has a 68% on AniList. So we are in the minority when it comes to this show in particular. Even though on Crunchyroll it's like a 4.9 or 4.8 star. So Crunchyroll feels what we feel. AniList feels what T Money Fingers and Fear feels. But this show is spectacular. It looks good. The dialogue is fucking fantastic. I'm loving the lore that's being unlocked slowly, very slowly, but surely is becoming something larger. I'm enjoying You Armor Server. It's great. Orb. For the time that I watched it, I'm gonna give it a C. It's a good show, good idea. However, I do wish it just stuck with the premise of what it did with Rafal and continued that. But it's very, very mediocre and boring. But it's not bad.
B. I don't care.
Oh, yeah, understandable. Loner Life in Another World. I'm about 2 episodes behind, but I still got to the midway point at least. And I it's okay. I think it's about the same. I think it's about the same as Spirit Chronicles 2. I gave it a D+.
I gave it a C-.
Yeah, it's about there. Yakuza Fiance. It went. The score went down on this one. It used to be like a 75, but now it's a 67. This is a D for me. This is probably my least favorite show this season. Funny enough,
it is actually my least favorite watch this season as well. I gave it a D-, but it's not my lowest score. It is actually amongst my lowest scores, but it's not. I mean, I'm putting it right under Shangri-La Frontier is what it kind of feels like, which is wild.
I hate this show, and T Moneyfinger said it best. Like, the main protagonist, the girl, she's carrying it. The dude just keeps getting worse. This might be the first time ever in the season tell that I think I might drop a sleeper. Now I know it's against the rules, Tell.
Can't.
I really want to. I hate this show so much.
It might love flops us, bro.
No, it won't. It won't. I hate this show so much, Tell, that I'm actually considering using a drop for it. Like, I can't stand watching it. I fucking hate it so much.
Yeah, bro. I feel you. I 100% feel you. It's literally the most
grating thing to watch. Yes.
There's so little that's enjoyable about it, and then the moments that are good, they don't last long enough. So I agree.
At all. Let This Grieving Soul retire. I feel a lot better about this one than most, I think, personally, but I give it a C+. I think, and this is where I believe it's T Moneyfingers who said it, but he said everyone else around the main character is cool. I think the main character is fucking awesome. I like the fact that he's like this person who just happens to be. I think personally he's extremely lucky, and that's his skill that he doesn't realize he has. But I absolutely love the main character and the way he's kind of like fumbling through this whole situation. It's a fun watch, a show that I just chuckle at.
So I gave this show a C+.
What did I give it? I forgot that fast.
C+.
Okay, C+.
I hate this main character. I don't like him, and the thing is that it's not just him I don't like. I don't like him. I like the Grieving Souls characters that we've seen so far. I think both of those characters are phenomenal.
Hate Strifling Shadow, whatever fucking name is.
I do hate her clinginess, but when she get into action and that kind of stuff, I like her. But the smart chick, her last name Smart is what I'm saying. I love her. Yeah. Everything she's done so far has been amazing, and I just love her. But like, I hate all of the supporting cast except for Stifling Shadows.
Oh,
Minty.
Yeah,
all the supporting cast for me, they're like, I hate that they're like in love with the fact that they know he's going to be right or whatever, and it's just like, yeah, I feel like luck is his thing. I agree with you. But it's so like off-putting, and it's like the show is. I'm watching it because I'm tuned in. Like, and when I say it's a C+, I don't hate the show. It's hard to take my eyes off of it when I'm watching it. You know what I mean? Like, I turn it on, I'm like, God, I'm stuck watching this show, and it's not like I'm mad. I'm stuck watching it. It's just like I can't say it's good, but I can't say it's bad either. It's just him.
I absolutely love him. And like I said, this thing has to be his thing has to be his luck. And it's so fucking funny. It's so funny that it turns out this way. He's no different than See It, outside of See It being a little bit more clueless. Honestly,
not even close.
Not
even close, bro.
It's virtually the same thing.
How, bro?
Everything falls into place perfectly, unintentionally, and that's exactly the same thing. Minus the fact that Sid he can actually pop off.
Yeah, Sid actually has skill and talent that he's worked for.
Right, but we don't know if the 1,000 hands, if his skill and talent is
1,000 tricks.
Yeah, his tricks. Like you just don't know that yet, and I think I'm starting to think
he don't know that.
Yeah, exactly. I'm starting to think that this might be a situation to where we would get love flopped.
Mm-hmm.
I think it could be something like that. However,
I hope so.
I still love the characters. I hate the shadow chick, the pink, the science chick that they just introduced recently. I love her. I love Tino, but I hate the stifling shadow one. Even when she's just aggressively, it's just mean and nasty. Yeah, it's too much. It's too much.
I want this to be a love flop situation where episode 6, 7, 8, it just completely flips on his head and it's like, yo, I love this character. I don't see it though, bro. I'm sorry.
I do. I love him. I love him to death. Sword Art. I saw you watching it, but I haven't watched season 1, so I can't speak on it.
What did I give it? Sword Art Online right now, the alternative is a B-. It is a continuation of the Gun Gale Online and jumping right into a tournament.
It's the alternative Gun Gale Online. So it's a completely separate thing for everybody else. It's a completely separate thing. That's season 1 of alternative Gun Gale. That's like not even associated with Kirito and all them. So keep that in mind.
Yeah, so it's a continuation of that. But it's actually, I watched the first season. Did you watch that first season?
I did not.
It's a continuation off of that, and it's just building off those characters. Most of the cast is female, but I think it's actually really good. B- is where I have it. I'm not gonna say really good, but it has its strong suits.
Demon Lord 2099. I give this one a episode 6 is in 3 days, so we're not quite to the middling point, but with this most recent episode, in episode 5, I give it a C+.
Wow.
Yeah, it would have been a C if it wasn't for this most recent episode, but a C+ is where I'm at. I think the most recent episode is what brought it to the plus. And if they continue at this trajectory, it can go up to probably like a B+.
See, I be thinking we on the same page, and then you come out doing this hate and stuff. But I gave it a C+ too. I ain't gonna lie to you. I gave it a C+ because I feel
better than middling.
This is one of those things that I felt like the first episode gave me hope, and then it let me down. Mm-hmm. And I feel like this trajectory that it's giving us in the last 2 episodes brought me back up in hope.
Same.
Just like you said. So I feel like, man, if we can get to a place where this stays solid, bro, and it hits a B, I will be happy. Mm-hmm. I'll be happy. This is great. These last 2 episodes with the information we've gotten, the dungeon aspect, and all these other things that they're introducing that makes it interesting. So yeah, I hope it stays on that route so I can actually give it a B.
Oh, and funny enough, since this is like episode 6 is next week or in 3 days essentially from when we're recording this episode, this is perfect to be the end of the season show to review because of how late our mid-season review is. So it kind of actually works out perfectly, funny enough, from a logistical standpoint. But all right, 365 days into the wedding. I really, really like this. Again, this doesn't look the best animation wise. The story is progressing a lot slower than I thought it was going to, but I'm okay with where it's going so far. And this one I kind of want to give a C+ too. The only reason why it's not a B is because of its pacing. It's a little slower when it comes to like moving through the romance portion of it, but I like it a lot. I do like the show a lot. But I do feel the same way about Demon Lord that I do about this one. That's why I get a C+ as well.
This one for me got a C-. It's not that it's I do find it interesting, but I actually find it relatively boring in some regards.
I can see that.
it to me, and I know this is gonna sound crazy, right? What did he say? Tropey. The tropes in tying the knot, I actually like. I don't know why. So like for me, it's the scoring that I have for 365 Days to Wedding versus Tying the Knot with the Amagami Sisters isn't like hugely different, but I enjoy it just more, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Even though this one is technically like a little bit more mature, but I think that's kind of what makes me like it less, is that because 365 Days to Wedding is less mature, but they're so like, I guess,
immature about this.
Yeah, that's what makes it harder for me to digest. It's like I'm ready for you guys to stand up and be a little bit more outgoing with this. Whereas in like Tying the Knot with the Amagami Sisters, which I gave a C+, these characters are like 19 and under, so they're not necessarily well experienced in the adulthood aspect.
20 and under.
Yeah, 20 and under. I thought the older sister was 19.
She's 20.
Okay.
To go to that one, to just kind of speed run the Amagami Sisters. Yeah, for me, it's a C-. It's
trope.
It's very, very tropey trope. It's I enjoy it though. It's just I don't. It's 24 episodes deep. I could feel that it's 24 episodes with the way it moves, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
So that's that. All right. The most notorious talker runs the world's greatest clan. This is an A for me. The reason why this is an A for me is because it's so unique in its storytelling. It's so unique with its characters. I'm loving what we're slowly building up so far. This is definitely one of my favorite shows. This is what did I give it again? I forgot that fast. A, right?
A.
Yeah. This is what definitely probably my third favorite show of the new shows that came out. Easily. I love this one.
This show has a lot going for it, and this is one of those shows where we talk about main characters and how characters drive a show.
Mm-hmm.
I almost think that it could just be him and nobody else is a really known character, and he's carrying the show. 100%. I gave it an A-, but there's so many aspects of the show that are amazing. So to me, Talker is phenomenal. I would say it's a definite must watch.
100%. 65% on Annie list. We are crazy. We are off, I guess, apparently. As Reincarnated Aristocrat season 2, this has been an A. An easy A. Not even a question. Like there's nothing wrong with the show whatsoever. And I don't know how it gets
episode.
Yeah, I don't know how it gets anything less than an A. Maybe Crystal can explain why her grades is so harsh. I'm really curious as to know why. But
are we bringing that one to spoiler talk? Because I feel like I got some stuff I want to say about it.
I mean, we could replace Bleach with this one since we talked kind of in relative detail about Bleach.
Let's do that, bro.
So we can do ReZero, this, and what was the other one?
Maybe Bluebox?
It was Bluebox. Yeah, it was Bluebox. So those are going to be relatively quick. I become the villainess who goes down in history. Tell.
I gave that one a C+.
What? Okay.
Yeah. Villainous, it's not good, bro. It's not good, but it's not
C+.
It's not bad because so here's the thing: is that I really enjoy. Okay, I enjoy the main character.
Before you answer that, do you like that better than Tying the Knot with Amagami Sisters?
Yes.
Okay, you gave them the same grade.
I think the quality is the same. But actually, I would say that the quality, the production value for Villainous is worse. But the Villainous and her actions, the story kind of aspect to it is better.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Yes, it does.
So it has a better storyline, through line. You can see where the direction is heading, that kind of stuff. The characters directly around it, I would say, are even better as well. In that regard. So while it doesn't have the same, like the Amagami Sister production value in terms of visual is even better. The sound design is better, but the story element of the villainess is just better. It has a better story.
All right. The healer who was banished from his party. This is a D.
D.
I don't even have much to say on it. Goodbye, Dragon Life. It's a D.
D minus.
D minus?
Yeah.
Worse than the healer one? Interesting. Okay.
No, D plus. I gave it D plus. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah, both the same to me. So D. And MF Ghost. I'm gonna give this one a B.
I gave it a B minus.
B minus. MF Ghost has been fucking phenomenal. It makes me want to turn on Car X Street or Test Drive every time I watch it. I'm like, this shit is so fucking cool.
Yeah, bro. I'm not, and B minus, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm saying I enjoy watching it, you know.
Yeah.
It's a B minus though.
Yeah. Bloomin' Borrow. That's a C.
I gave it a B minus.
I'm not really.
I can see a C being better because it's not something that I'm super stoked to watch, to be completely honest.
I'm not clamoring it at all.
And it makes sense for it to be a C. I think I gave this grade just like kind of rushing. So I can see a C plus is what I would give it normally.
And I think that's it, unless I'm missing something on your list that's not.
Let me see.
I didn't finish the first episode of Trillion Game, so I can't even dare to even try to rate that.
Nope. I think we hit everything on my list as well.
Perfect.
Suma Show.
Oh, Sama Show. Yeah, Sama Show is an A.
Gave it a B plus.
I fucking love this show so much, man. It's the best amount. It's the quality amount of drama, perfect amount of romance. And this one, again, another unique episode. I absolutely loved. Love the growth. And, oh my God, it's so gut punching as to what happened at the end of 7, but I digress. All right,
bro. What was your overall grade for this season?
Tell, can you do me a favor? Because I know you got the grades over there. Can you read back to me what I gave stuff? Or do you not have them all?
No, I just kept my grades. I'm sorry, but
it's all good. It's all good. Okay, never mind it. Fuck.
I think most of our grades are relatively the same, except for
they're not even close to the same. They're not even.
I'm saying some key ones like Orb was different.
Yeah, no, our grades are way different.
I know what I'm giving this season, and I'm pretty sure our grades are still going to be relatively similar.
Overall, I give this this season a C. Probably a C minus even.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought. I think this is one of the worst seasons in recent times, and if we didn't include recurring anime, I almost think it would be worse than a C. I hate to say it,
yeah,
because the amount of anime that are actually really good are really good, but there's so many overwhelmingly like low scores that would bring it down. So I gave it just a flat C. Like I could see this being a 7.4 like Crystal gave it, and that's like mad accurate.
Yeah, I think I gave it, my scores was way lower than yours for the most part. So yeah, a C minus for me, probably a 70.
Yeah, but I'm also saying some of the ones that you gave higher scores, I gave lower scores. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yes, this wasn't a great season outside of the returning stuff. If you look past the returning stuff alone, Damachi, ReZero, Bleach, hard carries. But other than that, Shangri-La Frontiers ain't great.
Yeah.
Everything else is not.
D. I get a D plus, I think.
Everything else is just not good. It's just not that great. And again, like Multipurpose said, shout out to Multipurpose, Don picked the right season to drop. Because this just stinks this season for the most part, outside of returnings. So good job on them for coming out at the right time. Let's get to know Mike Check Waifu. I believe it's my turn to read the question and tell Turn to roll a random number generator.
I think that's actually reversed, brother. I think.
Okay, I'll roll the. Yeah, I think you're right. I'll roll the random number generator. Tell reads the question. Let me know when you're ready.
All right, I'm there.
30.
Number 30. Have you ever watched an anime without subtitles or dubbing to practice the language?
No.
I have, but it was something I've already watched, and it was just Naruto.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, it was, and I know what's happening contextually, but I don't, actually know the words, other than some that I do know. But if you check out our Discord and look at what our boy Christian, aka Death Scythe, the archivist, put in the chat, did you read that?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
I think that was a phenomenal breakdown about Japanese language. So that question actually matches up with that perfectly.
Yeah, it's not like we didn't know that, right? But
right.
It is interesting to see him break it down for everybody else. Is dope, super dope. But it still didn't really, because I think it was referring to the point of me not knowing how good the voice acting is. So it wasn't quite relevant to that particular conversation that we had, but it was a good piece of insight. I think the best part about that though is how you still don't necessarily know unless you speak the language. Mm-hmm. If you could tell they're reading, or you know what I'm saying, like if it just doesn't feel as natural as we do when we talk, you know what I'm saying? But right. Whatever, I digress.
And not to go too far, but I remember somebody saying that, what is it, like sometimes a statement that they might say might be talking about the sun, but it means a different kind of statement or different meaning. Yeah. And it's like, what is that? How am I supposed to know what that means if I haven't spoken this language for 15 years? Yeah, and more so tone.
Right. Is what I was referring to. Because like when you're watching a cartoon or just bad acting in general in any TV show, you could feel it. But I almost forgot about. You know what I'm gonna do?
What's that?
I think I'm gonna make a Patreon exclusive video for the Overlord movie.
Oh yes, bro. I want to. Yeah, okay. I'll just check out the Patreon exclusive video like you should as well.
You want to hear about it? I can just talk about it now. Fuck it. You want to talk about it now?
No, do it for Patreon, bro.
Okay, I'll save it.
I think that's the best decision to make.
Okay, I'll save it for Patreon. All right, yeah, it's let's get to. We already did that. Let's take this quick break, and when we come back, we're gonna be spoiling ReZero,
Incarnated, Aristocrat, and Bluebox.
And Bluebox. Yes, thank you. We'll be right back after these. And welcome back to episode 276 of My Check Waifu. Welcome to the spoiler half of the show where we spoil 3 particular shows that we want to go in grave detail about. So if you haven't seen ReZero, Incarnated as an Aristocrat, and Bluebox, come back when you do watch those. I don't know why I can't remember those. It's just that we just got finished talking about it. All right. Starting off with ReZero. ReZero had the best fucking camera angle with Priscilla ever. That shit was so fucking cool.
Yeah.
This episode just flew by though. Like it felt like didn't much happen in this episode. Didn't it feel like that? But it still was like extremely dope. It was like, okay, you got the bard. Now we know the bard can calm the people's like souls or whatever to combat Wrath's power.
Right, but I don't think they necessarily explicitly said that, but it was nice for us to, because obviously we can put the pieces together, but it was nice that we did get that moment, and they demonstrated that for us. They also demonstrated the fact that Subaru's leg came back.
Yeah, which is fucking crazy to think about.
And Priscilla just stabbed him, bro. So first she cut his leg and it just instantly heals, which is interesting, right? Because what does that mean? Because they didn't even want to show us what's her name? Is it Krishna? How do you say her name?
Yeah, yep.
They didn't even want to show us her because of how grotesque the situation was. But Subaru, his leg healed.
There's 2 things that I don't appreciate about this particular season. Appreciate is kind of a harsh term, I guess, because I love everything about this season. So let me just clear that up. But I don't appreciate them eliminating Beatrice. Because we know that if Subaru had her, he'll have a much easier time. So it kind of feels like they kind of do what they do when they have strong characters, i.e. Gojo in the fucking prison or
isolate them.
Yeah, isolate them. I don't like when that happens because it just feels like you're not confident enough in your ability to write everybody else. Like you even eliminated Amelia because Amelia was popping the fuck off. Like she apparently has power now and she's very, very capable. So they isolated her. You obviously you have to isolate Reinhardt because he is the Gojo of ReZero. So so that's a little bit more understandable. But to isolate Amelia, Beatrice, essentially, it's kind of like
Now, let's also be fair though, because we don't know how long this isolation is going to necessarily last, right?
Right.
And the thing that I will say encounter to say that I appreciate with this isolation is that it gives Subaru and other characters a chance to shine. You know what I mean? Sure. We didn't really get to see Priscilla's sword work yet, but we got to see some this week, like you said, with that camera angle. And then maybe we get a moment where Subaru gets shine, because I don't think that, or shine, but we will get to see Amelia again. We're going to get to see Beatrice again. And I do think that is kind of, while, like you said, it kind of sucks because you've built these characters up and you kind of remove them in this sense. It does give us a chance, to build up those moments to get back to that point. And then we may get an even more overwhelmingly, superior moment where Subaru meets up with Beatrice and now he's gotten to kind of get into the groove of things a little bit better, and now he's able to stand on his own.
True. Yeah, man. So essentially, I know Rob Stone didn't really appreciate this episode because it had the bard in it. He said he's not a fan of her.
Oh yeah,
which is understandable, but she was cool. Again, do you think there's a checkpoint coming?
Man,
or maybe we already have it, or
well, and here's what I'm gonna say. I think that we do have it.
Oh no!
And I say that
with Crush.
I do think that we do have the checkpoint already, and I say that because we've officially gone 2 episodes without dying.
No, more than that. It's been like 3 or 4.
Okay. So I feel like we've reached a point because they had the meeting, which had to be like 30 minutes to an hour. We had some travel time in between, which they're not necessarily showing us. It's been a few hours without necessarily going back, which we also know that they've gone days without checkpoints.
Yeah.
Months without checkpoints. Yeah. I think if you break down some of the stuff, it's been like as far as months, right? But it's still the principle is that I think that enough significance has happened in between to garner a checkpoint.
We just don't know how it works, period.
Yeah.
Like, we don't know how checkpoints works or when they would put them in or not put them in. Like it has no qualifying piece of it.
The only reason I say I think we have a checkpoint is the dragon blood in his leg.
Nah, I don't see how though.
I think that there's significance in the fact that it affected everyone else differently.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if they have any relevance to a checkpoint though. If anything, it'd be the opposite. Because if you think about who Stella is, she doesn't want any harm to come to Subaru.
Right.
So technically, with the dragon bloods in them, that's harm. So, I mean, maybe, I don't know. I don't know. I just don't.
It's not killing him, so it's not technically like, harming him.
Sure. Yeah.
So I
guess it's a configuration, essentially.
Yeah, it's a harder line to draw.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You just don't. I'm worried about Krish. I just wish he would have died.
I do. I agree. He should have died in the water, but he in there waiting in the water.
Yeah, it's pretty sad. Bring Rim back.
We don't even know her name.
I'm worried that she ain't coming back.
Is that how you feel? You feel like it's been too long or what?
I just don't know how the shit works, bro. I don't know how anything works. So
Subaru has to hopefully kill Gluttony.
Yeah. But
we got a minute and a half of Gluttony on the screen and they left.
And he's gone. Oh, that's what I'm saying. And that's why it feels like it's just never going to happen. Anyway, let's move on.
And they're dangling the fruit in front of our face.
Yeah.
They messing with us.
Let's move on.
All right. Reincarnated Aristocrat.
Okay, so what did you want to discuss with this one in particular?
So the moment when he couldn't use his ability, you realize that was like an upgrade moment, right?
Well, yeah, obviously after they showed him push through to get the upgrade.
What do you feel about that? Like we're seeing him actually tangibly get an upgrade within the show. I thought, to me, I was like, the fact that it gives him all this extra insight just layered him even more as a character.
It's massive. It's huge because of exactly what happened during this episode with him being able to deduce exactly what, and he didn't just use his eye to deduce the fact that, the general had a wife and kid, or
he did look around. Yeah,
he looked around and kind of investigated his environment or his surroundings. So I do think that was super cool. But what I think is cool, and it's very, very minor, but I think that a lot of shows miss this piece. Like, sorry to go back to Don, but how Don, how he's still able to use Turbo Granny's power a little bit. There's no real established piece of growth within that and his ability to be able to use that ability. However, in this one, if you noticed, he appraised everybody in the previous army that surrendered. He appraised everybody in that army, and that's how he essentially got this upgrade. That small piece of detail that most people don't even think about, will probably miss, was so fucking dope to me because they thought of that, right? Like, he didn't just get this upgrade for no reason, out of nowhere and spontaneously. It's because he used his appraisal skill for hundreds and hundreds of soldiers to figure out one's capable in the previous armory. But they didn't put that in the forefront. And
they gave us the fact that he was tired from doing this. He was worn out from this. So it's not like it was something that was easily earned. It wasn't, and then they regarded him, they gave him something that wasn't fruitless as well. So that was really cool. And then they gave us a cooldown time for it to be used. Essentially. But I was like, yo, he not gonna recruit this builder dude. And I was like, he can't use his ability. And at first I was thinking, and this is just me not fully tuned in. Initially, I thought that the thing that he bought from the engineer actually had some kind of magic jamming.
Interference with it. That's a good thought. I thought it was just because he used his eye so much that it needed a cooldown period. I literally thought that was it.
Yeah.
But no, it was because he was doing an iOS update.
Right. But yeah, I thought he had a magic jamming, and then when it came out and it shone its light or whatever, I was like, okay, so he can't scan. He tried to scan again, and then it went through, and I was like, oh, you know what it was? Bro just leveled up. That's all it was. And exactly. I loved it. Dope. I love this show, man. It's so intricate, but it cares about what we're getting. And that's what makes this show so good for me. I don't think Crystal's 8.5 is too harsh, but I think that this show is amazing in so many regards, and it's been great. I love this interaction that we had with the lord of that castle or whatever, and the implications that it gave us with this upgrade as well.
What does it take for Crystal to give an A? God damn.
What did she give an A? She gave something A, remember?
Bluebox, yeah. But it's like an A minus.
Oh man.
I do love it though. It's a great show. Anyway, okay. Moving on. Excuse me, sorry.
Bluebox.
So this is the one where I had to, because tell me why you don't think. Let me just go to what I said in the Discord here, because I think it's very relevant as to what we're about to discuss. There's Bluebox discussion. I said, wait. Does she really have no interest in our guy, in our boy, like at all? And the reason why I felt that way is because at the end of this episode, she sees that what's her face? What's the other girl name? Let me get the names right. Hina.
Yep.
She was basically saying, "Hey, Hina, listen. I know it seems like I'm in your way, but it's just until the year's over, and I'll get out of your way." And Chinasu, or whatever, however you say her name, didn't seem to care about our guy. It seems like. Why do you feel like that's not the case?
So I saw that, and I understand exactly how that comes across. But the reason I feel differently is because we literally got like a seesaw flip flop here. We got Hina seeing that he likes Chinatsu, and we got all of that going on. She said, maybe I need to step aside. And she steps aside, and she's having like this kind of like breakdown in her thinking and everything like that.
Because
then we get to
she doesn't understand that she likes Taki.
Right. But hear me out. And that's exactly what I was thinking. We get to this point where she's sitting on the stairs, and or Chinatsu's sitting on the stairs, and she's like, wait, this is just till the end of the year, and I'll get out of your way. And she has a pause, and that's what made it seem as if that it could be different, because it's literally a flip, and they said the same exact words. They said the same exact words. The same exact sentence was said in subtitles.
That what you're saying is, you know what I mean when I'm not trying to insult. It's irrelevant of the flip, quote unquote. The flip is there, yes. It's absolutely there. It's irrelevant to the point because it doesn't show at all that Chinatsu has any feelings for Taki whatsoever. Everything that Chinatsu has done has been like good friend shit, or I'm only respecting your bound, like your craft, or it's nothing showed the fact that she indicates that she likes him whatsoever.
And I can understand that, but that's why I'm saying that I feel like there's significance in that pause, because they gave her a facial expression.
I just think it's just, like she's putting everything together finally.
Yeah, and that's what I was thinking. That's exactly what I was thinking, that she's putting it together, that when she said it in that moment, that she may actually like him. Now, I can be wrong. I'm not saying I'm right. See that. But I do think that this is the moment where she realizes it. But I think that this is what's going to happen. And this is kind of like, I guess, a gut check. I think that Hina is not going to back down. And Shinatsu is going to realize that, yes, I do like him. And it's going to continue from there. I mean, we got 17 more episodes. So I definitely feel like that's where this is going to progress to.
You know the look. You've seen enough slice of life anime to know the look of somebody who is hurt or jealous or feeling some kind of way about something. And in these slice of life romances, her look, nothing. She gave no indication of feeling whatsoever.
I didn't see that, bro. I'm telling you now, I didn't see that.
That's crazy, because that's why it was so obvious to me. Like, oh, wait. So she just has no interest, because it was her, like, because she seems just oblivious to the fact that he likes her. So, like I said, with her taking things into consideration, the conversation that he had with her mom about how she felt like she said something wrong, even though it's not, it wasn't, and like all that shit, that just feels like I want to be a good senpai to Taki. It's nothing like romantical about any feeling that she's had. So I say all that to say, when she finally put the pieces together, she's like, oh shit. She even said like a boy living with a girl, and everything that she flashed back to what Hina said, and she was just flashing back to all of that with no expression change whatsoever. No blushing, no anger, not even a fucking blink. Okay? None of that showed any indication of romance feelings towards Taki at all. That's why she said, okay, she felt more concerned for Hina's feelings than she did about her feelings about Taki. So it's like, okay, it's just a little bit longer. I don't want you to think that this is romantical. It's just until the end of the year. So you think that her saying that is her establishing the fact that she likes Taki? That makes
I'm not saying her words specifically. I think that her facial expression was her saying to herself.
The emotionless one.
But you're saying it's emotionless. I didn't feel like it was emotionless.
You got to rewatch this.
I felt like there was a jerk in there, like a motion in there that said, oh, and like I said, we can take that differently. We're interpreting it differently, but I'm saying I 100% think that she's realizing that she does like him. And I think in the coming episodes, she's going to be fighting against it and then realize more in that fighting phase that she likes him.
Okay, this is what I did. I just went to the literally last minutes, and I'm watching it right now. And he's telling her how she's such a fantastic gymnast. Mm-hmm. Anyway, I'm off to bed. Then she does like a look. That look indicated no romance. He's like, oh shit. She's realizing that Hina actually likes Taki right now, but her face emotionless, completely emotionless. That jerk you're referring to was the jerk of her hearing him laugh about Hina. And now she's thinking they make a good pair. Boom. Everything else is completely emotionless. At the very least, Chino seems to think so. In that case, I'm just in the way. A housemate of the opposite sex.
Turn my VPN on to Japan.
You can't. The subtitles aren't there, unfortunately. See, and she's apologizing to Chino and saying it's all for basketball. Like, I promise it's only until I graduate. Everything she's saying, including her look, was all completely emotionless. The only time she showed emotion was when he was laughing about Hina and her gymnast thing, because then that's when she realized, oh shit, maybe Hina actually likes Taki and I've been in her way. And that's exactly what it looks like to me. So I
understand. And I just watched it. I just watched it because I put Netflix on my computer. I just watched it, and I think my opinion does not change.
Okay.
I 100% think that it's exactly what I said is going to continue.
It's obvious that they're going to get together in these 25 episodes, but I think as of right now,
obvious. We've had heartbreaks before.
No, it's obvious that they will, but I think at this particular point, I don't think there's any feeling towards him yet. But I think now, do I think is she going to become jealous over time? Yeah, that's how slice of life romance works. She starts to establish, like, wait a minute, I'm starting to like him. But as of right now, there's none of that.
Okay.
That is my thought process. Now, this is my gut check. I do feel like that when it starts to happen, she's going to distance herself more from Taki to help Hina get closer to him. While doing so is when Taki starts to realize what's going on. He kind of makes something slips up. Shinatsu's like, but Hina. You know what I mean?
Your wife must be reading you, telling you what's happening in Japanese.
And she's not Japanese though.
I know, I'm just joking. She does she speak Japanese?
No. She's Taiwanese.
I understand. I thought
Taiwanese is Mandarin.
I thought y'all was talking. I thought you had her speaking the language before that. Whatever, bro.
No.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry.
I just don't. I don't think. I don't. Yeah. I just hope. I don't know. I just hope that she has some feeling, at least right now, for him. I hope you're right, essentially, is what I'm trying to say.
I think she has some feeling there. I'm not sure exactly what it is. I think that she does have a feeling, and I think it's more of a, I'm here and she knows she's not going to be there for long. And it is not trying to get in the way. Because I mean, you compound it with the fact that in the beginning he made that motion where he didn't seem like he wanted to be seen with her. So the first thing she did was like, oh, you don't want to be seen with me, let me act accordingly. I think that she may be acting in a way in which, like, is trying to honor both him and who she believes he likes. But I think as soon as he gives her any inkling that he might like her, it's gonna flip.
I hope you're right. I so hope you're right. I think you're right. Tell you're right. Let's just say you're right, so it can be right.
We don't know.
I'm gonna say you're right, so it can be right. I want you to be right. God damn it.
I don't mind being wrong, bro.
Tell I'm at Polow Borfly on all social media.
Polow, I'm at King Telliano on all social media.
You can follow our social medias at Mike Check Waifu on Twitter and at Mike Check Waifu on Instagram, TikTok, and Threads. And as always, Mike Check.
You're now tuned into Mike Check Waifu Waifu. Is that you?